All right, so what I've got here behind me is an early 2000 Alchemy Road Bike, and it's not really going to be so much of a rebuild, but I'm going to tune it up and get it cleaned up. I got a great deal on it. And through the tune-up process, I'm going to share with you a list of interesting facts about bicycles that you may or may not know. So anyways, let's go in the shop and let's get this thing tuned up, cleaned up, and get ready for a new owner. So come with me. Did you know that 1 year of maintenance on a bicycle is 20 times cheaper than a car? If you replaced your car with a bicycle, you could save 238 gallons of gas per year on average. Bicycles don't need a rider, and they'll stay on their wheels if they're going at least 8 miles per hour. One of the most important discoveries in history of the bicycle was the pneumatic tire. Its invention was made by John Boyd Dunlop in 1887. The second most important bike invention was the chain, and it was patented in 1880 by Reynolds Corporation. Over 90% of all bicycle trips are shorter than 15 kilometers or 9.3 miles. The first cyclist that drove his bicycle around the world was Fred A. Birchmore. He pedaled more than 25,000 miles and traveled 15,000 miles by boat. He wore out 7 sets of tires. That was in 1935, and it took him 2 years. Currently, it's estimated that there are more than 1 billion bicycles in use around the world. Ten 10% of the workforce in New York City commutes by bicycle, and 40% in Amsterdam. Each year, the world produces 2.5 times more bicycles than they do automobiles. %25 of U.S. cyclists ride mountain bikes, making it the most popular type of bike in the country. It's closely followed by the hybrid bikes at 24%. The term taking a header came from people who flipped forward on a high wheel bike or a penny farthing and hit their head. The first electric bicycle was invented in 1897. It couldn't take hold because the commercial availability of parts. Bruce Bursford, who in 1996 achieved speeds of 207 miles an hour after being towed up to 100 miles an hour on a custom bike, holds the world record for the fastest man on a bike. The term clunker was first used in 1975 by a group of mountain bikers in the San Francisco area. They used the term to describe custom-made bikes that were made for downhill rides. The name was used to describe the clunky, noisy, and often dangerous bikes that were used for the sport. Today, the term clunker is still used to describe custom-made mountain bikes. It's also referred to older, heavier, and more basic bikes are still used for recreational riding today. Giant Bicycles, which was formed in 1972, is the largest bicycle brand in the world. I guess that's why they call them Giant. Trek Bicycles acquired Klein, Lamond, Gary Fisher, and Villager bikes. Sadly, all those brands no longer exist. In September of 2001, the Schwinn Bicycle Company, its assets and the right to the brand, together with that of the GT Bicycles, was purchased at bankruptcy auction by Pacific Bicycle. Not many of us realized this because it was overshadowed by the events of September 11th. But we lost a great bicycle brand because Schwinn has never been the same. A Strandy bicycle is basically a beach cruiser loaded up with BMX components used to ride up and down the coast of California along the paved path called the Strand. Joe Breeze is credited as inventing the first mountain bikes. He built the Breezer 1 from 1977 to 1978 in Marin County, California. After local riders pushed for something better suited for the local terrain, he only made 10 of them, and they were built from the ground up and have rightly been given legendary status. The most expensive bicycle in the world is the Trek Butterfly Madone. The designer, Damien Hirst, placed real butterfly wings on the bike's frame and rims. The bike was used by Lance Armstrong in the 2009 Tour de France race. It fetched an amazing $500,000 at Sotheby's Cancer Benefit Auction, making it basically the most expensive bike ever in the world. Of course, then the butterfly wings attracted the wrath of people in the ethical treatment of animals, the PETA, which termed it horrific barbarity. The world record for the most bicycle miles in 1 year is held by Amanda Coker. She did 86,573 miles, which is around 237 miles per day. Wow. The world record for the fastest ride across America was done by Christopher Strasser. He did it in 7 days, 15 hours, and 56 minutes. And now here are some interesting quotes about bicycles. Life is like a 10-speed bicycle. Most of us have gears we never use. Charles M. Schultz. Every time I see an adult on a bicycle, I no longer despair for the future of human race. H.G. Wells. It never gets easier. You just go faster. Greg LeMond. It's the first machine we master as children and the one we abandon when the seductions of the automobile take over. Bicycling is a big part of the future. It has to be. There's something wrong with a society that drives a car to the workout at a gym. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Give a man a fish and feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and feed him for a lifetime. Teach a man to cycle and he will realize fishing is stupid and boring. Desmond Tutu. Think of bicycles as rideable art that can just about save the world. Grant Peterson. As a kid, I had a dream. I wanted to own my own bicycle. When I got a bike, I must have been the happiest boy in Liverpool, maybe in the world. I lived for that bike. Most kids left their bike in the backyard at night. Not me. I insisted on taking mine indoors, and the first night I even slept with it in my bed. John Lennon. Nothing compares to the simple pleasure of riding a bike. John F. Kennedy. When spirits are low, when the day appears dark, when work becomes monotonous, and hope hardly seems worth having, just mount a bicycle and go out for a spin down the road without a thought about anything but the ride you are taking. Author Conan Doyle. Life is like riding a bicycle. In order to keep your balance, you must keep moving. Albert Einstein. And this last one really applies to me. I relax by taking my bicycle apart and putting it back together again. Michael Pfeiffer. Well, I hope you enjoyed this style of bike tuning. Make sure you stay tuned, like and subscribe to the channel. I have another couple of interesting builds I'm going to try to get done before the end of the year. We'll see. But if you don't subscribe and hit the notification bell, you won't know about them. All right. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.